African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for another amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. We are live streaming on YouTube, and we are also live on Clubhouse. I'm excited to be here with you because every Monday to Friday we gather here for the Daily African Proverbs, primarily so that we can discuss African proverbs and also learn from these African proverbs. We try to imagine what is it that our fathers and mothers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers used to think when they were discussing these proverbs long before we were around. And what is it that we could be using these proverbs to discuss so that when our children are, left here without us, they also have some nuggets of wisdom that they can navigate this life with. Simply E, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot. I just want to, appreciate you for the continued support. I see Zizi is also here. Rain, I want to invite you to join us on stage as we begin dissecting this proverb from Kenya. I am from Kenya originally, and I'm so excited to dive a little deeper into this proverb with you. I'm going to pin it at the top of the room in just a moment, but it says we should talk while we are still alive. We should talk while we are still alive. This is a proverb that, growing up, we used it a lot. We used it a lot, especially when we were being, sometime I was even having a conversation with my peers, and they would basically try to stop you from talking. And then you would storm away, and while you are walking away, you'd say, we should talk while we are still alive, So it's something that is very close to my heart. This proverb particularly is very close to my heart, and it primarily means that everybody deserves a right and an opportunity to speak up. And earlier on today, I had posted this specific proverb on my Instagram account, where typically whenever I know I'm going to be coming to this room, which is Monday to Friday, I share the proverb on my Instagram and all my social media handles. And one of the comments that I saw was from a nurse who frequents this room a lot, and she shared with us that, just a few days ago, she was with a patient whose spouse had just left them. And the patient was now turning to the nurse that was caring for their spouse and saying, I wish I had talked more to them. I wish I had said this to them. I wish I had done this to them. And in her mind, in the mind of this nurse, this proverb came up. And so when I posted it, she wrote a really long response just saying, you should speak your piece now so that you don't have to regret it later on. I want to invite Simply E to also, just quickly introduce herself and share with us what this proverb means to her. And then, I want to hear from you all who have joined us here on Clubhouse. I want to hear what your interpretation of this proverb from Kenya is. And also, I want to invite you to ping in, 3 to 5 people to join us just as we are beginning the Daily African Proverbs for today. Remember, we are live streaming on YouTube as well. I'll post the link at the top of the room so that you can join us over there as well. Simply E, the microphone is yours.
Thank you so much, Simon. This is Simply E, the poetess. I'm a poet, a spoken word artist, also a voice actress, and I just believe that beauty is more than skin deep, and we should always be the best that we can be in our universe. Um, Today's proverb, we should talk while we are still alive. I think this is so important because there are so many things in our lives that we look back at and we say, I should have seized the moment. I should have done this or I should have done that. And then we just keep moving forward. But I think it's important to hold on to that, right? To take that with us into the rest of our lives. If there's a moment to talk to someone, if someone's in your life and you have a disagreement, if they're important to you, you should find a way to close that gap as quickly as you can. Time is very important in seizing the moment and taking advantage of moments that are great or can be great with the people around us who mean so much is so important. And so I love the fact that this proverb is here because it's just a reminder to make sure we're present in the moment and enjoying life with the ones who are most important to us and around us. And that's what today's daily African proverb means to me. And thank you, Simon.
Oh, you're most welcome. Simply E, I am grateful for your share. It's true. It's true that we only live. We only live now. This proverb, similar to what you said, we only live now, and while we are here, we should share, and especially to those that we love, and also to humanity in general. I feel that this is part of why I do the daily African proverbs, because I want to speak while I still can. And thank you again, Simply E. Simply E is one of the people who are supporting make these daily African proverbs possible. And so if you want to be involved with the behind the scene workings of making this happen, please connect with her or connect with me directly. We have a private WhatsApp group where we choreograph everything that is going to happen, and then every Friday at 4 p.m. we have an office hour for the daily African proverbs, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we reflect a little bit about the whole week, and then we mobilize for the following week. Zizi is an elder and a wonderful friend that has consistently supported the daily African proverbs throughout last year. She was a guest, she was a contributor, and she's here now with us. I want to hear what you have to say about today's proverb from Kenya. Thank you so much, Zizi.
Very much, Simon, brother. We are all together here because we're Africans and we care for Kenya and every other African country. I feel I am privileged to be your elder and your sister and whatever else. And I love every and each person who frequents this page, this room. You offer a great service among all the other, things that you do. It's true, in a way, I really agree with this proverb because it's not only while I'm still alive, like what about the other person? They may not be there the next morning. Maybe would have hurt their feelings or didn't tell them that you love them. So both ways, I fully agree that what we have to do, let's do it now. Because the only moment we really can control now, this minute, not 1 minute past or nothing in the future. So let's all pour love on each other and on the whole thing, and hopefully we end up by having others. And my mission is to be an ambassador of love, of unconditional love, and I hope I can succeed. Thank you so much.
You are. You are already an ambassador of unconditional love, and you don't have. You don't even need to try, because I think who you are is just perfect for that role that you're dreaming about. I want to welcome everybody to the Daily African Proverbs. We are here in the African Father in America Club, and I would love for you to follow the club. If you want to join me on YouTube, the live stream link is at the top of the clubhouse room. And I'm really, really excited that my brother, Rushi, Rushi Brown is here with us. We were in Kenya together. I don't know if you're in Kenya still, but we were in Kenya together for the longest time. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this proverb, really. But I want to go to Tonjalia. Tonjalia, how are you doing? And what does this proverb mean to you?
Hi, Simon. Yes, thank you so much for having this room on the Daily African Proverbs. And we should talk while we are still alive. While I wrote down a couple of things. One thing I wrote down is words have the power to create and to change things and to shape futures. And so it's very important that we talk while we are still alive. Also, there's unity in language. We can agree upon things, we can disagree, but staying true to oneself through language is very important. Also, you mentioned peace, making peace. That's very important. If you have something on your heart, something on your mind that you want to convey to another, it should be conveyed in integrity, and we shouldn't let fear stop us from communicating with one another in love. And so that's my share, and thank you so much.
Wonderful. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you so much for your share and your contribution. Let's hear from Rain. Rain, share with us what this proverb from Kenya means to you.
Hi, Simon, and thank you for the room. Thank you all for the room. It's been a while since I've been here. But the proverb, we should talk while we're still alive, it made me think of passing on tradition and passing on wisdom. Being able to ask questions and go back and forth, that's something that we can't do once we have passed. So when I hear talk while we're still alive, I hear learn while we're still alive, teach people while we're still alive, spread our wisdom. So that's what I got from today's message. And again, thank you so much for the space.
Thank you so much. I love how you also brought up some of the things that you can also do while you're still alive, and making friends. Making friendships, lasting friendships, learning. I just love making friends because through this room we connected with brother Rushi, and then we ended up being in Kenya together, and we just had a great time. And then today at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are hosting an amazing room here on Clubhouse again, where we will be talking about the trip I'm organizing for Kenya this year in July. It's more of a leadership retreat. It's a 10-day leadership retreat. And here on stage, right after Rushi, you'll hear from Kalema, who organizes trips to Uganda. She'll talk about that briefly. She's also one of the, contributors to the weekly travel room that I was talking about at 1:30 p.m. And another contributor and co-creator of that space is Joseph Kafunda, who is on stage. He will also speak briefly about today's session. But now, my brother Rushi, I haven't heard from you in a minute. It's partly my responsibility. I should have reached out and found out where you are and how you're doing. But you know the story of this life. So share with us
Yes.
how you're doing and what this proverb means to you.
Thank you. Sasa Amosi.
Berainya.
Thank you, Simon. I had to when I saw this proverb today, I said to myself, I have to say something because this is kind of a this is what I've been thinking about all morning. Like me actually not being the person who says a lot. I'm very quiet. I keep to myself a lot. But this proverb, it really speaks to me a lot because we should talk while we are still alive because this is the only opportunity we have. Me being a person, I'm originally from the South Carolina, East Coast of the United States, and my elders, they always said, which is synonymous to this proverb, they always said, a closed mouth don't get fed, which means that if you don't say anything, you can't eat, you won't eat anything, pretty much. You won't eat any food, you won't eat any wisdom. You have to say something. And the crazy thing about this proverb is I would never have had the experience I had with you, Simon, going to Nairobi, going to Kisumu, I would have never had any of those experiences if I didn't say something to you. And the way that you actually embraced my words with action, it really moved me. Right now, I'm back home now in the States. I was in Africa, like I said, for about 30 days one point. Then I went back a week or two later and went for another 30 days. Now I'm back home. And the experience was just so amazing. And I can't wait to have that experience again. I am going back in March, but I can't wait to have another experience with you there, which is very important. But talking, I think I learned so much about communication actually through your podcast, through the way I was able to see how you communicate with people in Africa, in the States, the way that you actually how you handle conversation. It was a tremendous learning experience for me. So I usually never say anything in podcasts or on these lines, but now this proverb really speaks to me, and I thank you for the time that you spent with me in Africa and in Nairobi and the places that we went. And that's all I have to add for right now.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
be around. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I have to tell you that hearing your voice brings those, those moments that we had together. We used to we sat by a bench right by Lake Victoria, and we were watching the
Yes.
waves late at night.
Yeah.
You can't
I
sleep.
was actually watching some of the videos yesterday. I was like,
Man,
that's such a special, very special time.
I need to finish editing all the vlog that we did, but I have to say that traveling. Normally, Joseph Kafunda says traveling is like medicine, and that's how I feel right now, hearing your voice. And I'm happy that we actually didn't connect for a while after we traveled together because it's now special.
Yeah, very special. It's a lot for me. It was so much to take in. I'm still trying to take it all in. It was so much. We did so much together, and I was like, wow, the experience was so incredible. I've never experienced anything like that. It's actually reminded me of my home a long time ago, but it was very, very special, extremely special.
Yeah. Just to say this and then move to our next guest, and I'll keep you here for a moment because we are talking about a Kenyan proverb, and we were with you in Kenya, so I'll just make you a moderator and keep you here for a while. But I want to. Now this is really strange. I don't know if you guys see Rushi 2 times.
Yes,
Yeah.
moderated twice as well.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Clubhouse loves you, my friend.
I love Clubhouse.
Anyhow, I wanted to say that, I move very fast because within the period that I was in Kenya together with you, I did so much that sometime I felt like I was in a dream, in a daze, and
I agree.
and then once I got back to the States and I was able to settle down, I was like, there's no other way I could have done this. I just did my best, and I poured my heart into every minute of the entire schedule throughout that time.
Yes.
And I don't take people to some of the places I took you to, like visiting my one of my only living aunts on
Yes,
Rusinga
yes.
Island. You know, Rusinga Island is one of the islands where the oldest living human beings, the remains were found there. So we visited my aunt who, you know, who is ailing. She's aged. And we you know, Rushi stayed with me in my mother's home.
Yes.
And you know, you are a part of our family. And then he attended my mother's memorial as well. Part of why I was traveling was to attend my mother's first memorial since she passed away. So man, we are family now. We are family.
I agree.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Yeah,
we are.
man. So thank you again for being here. Kalema, thank you for being patient. And also really to everybody in the room, thank you for being patient. This is the Daily African Proverbs, and truly we are here to build lasting relationships and build community, you know, with people that love African culture and embrace African proverbs, but also people that just care about humanity and making this world a better place, one proverb at a time. So we are live streaming on YouTube as well. The link is at the top of the Clubhouse room. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's one way that you can support this important work. Kalema, share with us how you're doing and what this proverb means to you, and also touch on the session that we are going to host at 1:30 p.m. today.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much, Simon, for giving me the opportunity to be on stage. First of all, I want to say hello to everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. My name is Akalema Asfa from Uganda. Actually, this proverb means a lot. Hello? Yeah, like I was saying, the proverb means a lot because a month back, I was very, very sick and I could not even talk. I could not even put out a word like, give me a glass of water. So when I look at this proverb, we should talk while we're still alive. If you have anything to speak about and you have a chance, please speak it out. If you get to a point of talking to someone that maybe conversing with someone, let me say I want to say something to Simon, and you have the opportunity of meeting Simon or even getting in chat with them, talk to Simon and tell them everything that you really want to. So that's all this proverb has to say. And this, actually, I always say that our forefathers were really they were very wise men and women, because if you see this kind of proverb to what is happening right now in the world, like you can be talking to someone here and you don't know what's happening with them. Maybe they have COVID or anything. And the next day they're telling you that not anymore. So we should talk while we are still alive. Please talk. If you have anything, any grudge over someone, tell them. If you want to ask anything, just do it. Just talk if you have the chance to talk to those people. And like Simon actually was saying, I'm a guide and also a tour operator in Uganda, licensed by the Travel Bureau of Uganda and East Africa. So we do trips to Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Though right now I'm going to speak about Uganda specifically. If you need to come to Uganda, if you've never been on a safari, if you need anything about East Africa, the gorillas and all that stuff, if you want to know more about the animals, or if there is any animal behavior that you need you need to know about or know about basically in Uganda, maybe in Serengeti or Tanzania, I'm here to offer all that information. If you get into my inbox, if you get into my WhatsApp, and if you check my IG, there's a link in the bio that you can just click on and see the various offers that we have for trips to Uganda. And also I want to talk about the room that we host. late in the evening, because it's usually 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. in Uganda, as we're hosting that room. So I'm usually very, very dizzy, but I get to commit and be in the room. We usually talk about the 3 travel gyms in Africa, and you get to experience the virtual side of going to a place. When someone talks about that place, what you experience, how you're going to experience it, and all that, the details and everything. It's as if you're just watching a movie and all that. So I urge everyone who really like Africa, those who have the heart for Africa, those who love to travel, those who want to know about those hidden places that they don't mention about, or hidden things that they don't mention about in books, on televisions, and everything. Please join in on that room. It's really amazing. It's being hosted by Simon himself and Joseph down there. And please come in and we share information about Africa, so that by the time you're going to travel in a certain place, we also give tips of traveling through places. So if you get time and you really want to go to that place, you just know the ins, the outs, the do's and the don'ts of going there. So for now, I want to sign out, and I want to say thank you so much, Simon, for always getting me up on stage to speak about something that you always putting on. I really salute you for that. And to everyone, I'm happy to meet you here. Kalema Hasfa, and I'm done speaking. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome, Kalema. This is a really special space for me, and it's always an honor to have individuals like you, Kalema, but also to have real heroes like Philip Ogola, who is a Kenyan hero actually, who still holds a presidential award from Kenya for the incredible work he does as a digital humanitarian and many other things. So it's exciting that you're here when we are discussing an African proverb, and I can't wait to hear your perspectives. I hope you're doing well, and I hope your family is doing well. For now, we'll go to Andrea. Andrea, share with us what this proverb from Kenya means to you.
Peace, everyone. You may hear my children in the background. I'm grateful to be here in this space. I've been on Clubhouse for a while, but took a break and went with more intention looking for clubs to join. So I'm excited that I'm on here today and finally am able to be here with you all in the Daily African Proverbs. I was told by an elder a few years ago that I need to get to know African Proverbs more being here in America. From just basic internet searches, I couldn't find anything, but was excited when I saw this club pop up in my Clubhouse search. The proverb for me, originally, my family is from Chicago, Illinois, here in the U.S., and Chicago folks are known to have a harsh tongue. We're known to speak up and speak out. Some may say it's a warrior energy. Others say it's just, trash talk or cursing too much. And as I've gotten older, I've grown to understand that I'm a little wiser and a little older. And I understand now one must talk with care and intention. And so we should talk while we're still alive, just like Kalima said. Our days, we don't know when that day is that we won't be in our physical bodies anymore. So we should always speak if we're moved to. I'm around a lot of people who might not feel as if their sound is important. And so even with our talk, our sound can be healing and moving and could, do some things for folks that we can't even imagine. And so to talk is also a blessing and a gift. So I'm honored to be in this space, and thank you for holding this room.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for being here and for finding us. We are so happy that you found us. Nonofo, share with us what your perspectives are on today's Kenyan proverb. But before you do that, I want to welcome everybody else who is here in the room with us. This is the Daily African Proverbs. This room has been hosted for the last 1 year. We started having this room in January of last year, and it's just been an amazing space where we've built community relationships. We've initiated projects and seen them through, and we continue doing it not just for us but for our children, and also to make our ancestors smile with every proverb that we discuss. So we want to continue on with the conversation, but I want to urge you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is at the top of the room, and also follow the African Father in America Club. That way, when we have these conversations in the future, you are also notified. But really, the other thing is that this work is not easy. We can't do it on your own. So when we know that we are going to create the space and you're going to be there, it's just really, really motivating. No, for the microphone is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. We should talk while we're still alive. For me, it actually means that when words are released, forces are engaged. I believe that when you release a word, forces are engaged in a way that now things that you want. Some people say it is power of the universe. Some people talk about vision boards and stuff like that. But when you release your words, when you say, I want to do this, I am this, I am that, you release some energy that would come and change the story of your life. So we should speak. There's power in speaking out. There's power in words that releases the right energy for the right situation, for the right time. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that, and also for just speaking about it so powerfully. Philip, thank you for all you do on this platform. Share with us your thoughts on today's proverb from Kenya. The proverb from Kenya says that we should talk while we are still alive. Thanks a lot.
Hi, Simon.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that we are two Philips. Apologies.
It's fine. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'll go. Thank you very much, Simon, for the opportunity. And about this proverb, yeah, I definitely agree. You should use your voice whilst you're still alive. When you're dead, your words can be bent in all different ways, and you're not there to defend it or straighten it again. So and speaking about using your voice, I think Clubhouse is just an excellent platform to be able to do that and to share and to build your network and to make friends. And let me quickly use my voice then. I'm on Clubhouse primarily to advocate for this organization called Geosphere. I'm from South Africa in the northeast of the country. This used to be a primarily grassland region, with the grasslands being incredibly biodiverse, something like an estimated 4,000 different kinds of indigenous plants that can be found in the local grasslands. So apart from the biodiversity values, there's also all the services like water retention, flood prevention, prevention of soil erosion, etc. Unfortunately, we have seen most of these grasslands being transformed to so-called forests. Massive forest industry in our region. It's called the place where the biggest man-made forests are located. But the problem is that they are not forests. They are monocultures of mostly alien timber species, or exclusively alien timber species. Pine trees imported from Mexico, eucalyptus imported from Australia. So they established as massive monocultures, completely destroying the indigenous biodiversity and impacting on all these services like water retention, prevention of soil erosion, prevention of flash flooding. In fact, we can see over the last couple of decades how all of those things have increased. The local river systems really being degraded by this so-called forest industry. So when I hear reforestation or afforestation, I become concerned, and I think people should be really skeptical and interrogate that terminology. So that if, for example, in Kenya, when you do a reforestation or afforestation in areas where there used to be forests, one should plant indigenous trees. One should incorporate animals. One should incorporate shrubs and all the diversity that you find in a forest. You should establish in a forest if you say you're doing reforestation. Unfortunately, in most cases, it just means these large monoculture timber plantations, which do nothing to prevent or mitigate climate change impacts. In fact, it makes it worse. These timber plantations have nothing to do with carbon sequestration. In fact, when you establish a timber plantation, you are actually emitting carbon for the first couple of decades. It's only once the system stabilizes, and then also it has to be a functional ecosystem to be able to absorb and capture carbon. So I want to just use my voice, raise this point that we have to be skeptical when we hear afforestation. And when we are engaged with afforestation and reforestation, let's make sure that it's the appropriate timber species in the appropriate place, and hopefully in a diverse setting. I thank you very much for the opportunity for this room. Love Africa. Great initiative to have this room. And my favorite African proverb is that people are not like water. So thank you very much, Simon, for this opportunity, and good luck to all of you, and a happy New Year, belatedly. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Philip. I'm grateful for your contribution, and everybody learned something from what you had to share. And now we want to go to Joseph, who is also in the South African region like yourself. Joseph, share with us your perspectives on this proverb and also your thoughts about today's 1:30 p.m. Session in the One Vibe Africa Club. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. Good afternoon or good day, everyone. For us in Southern Africa, it's about 4 p.m. And it's such a wonderful day to be among the wise people in the world. Connecting on this platform, it's come so much powerful that each and every day you can't miss any of this conversation, because once you miss, you forgot something. And African proverbs, for me, it remind me of African culture. It remind me of hidden or untold stories that always existed, and we intend to forget because of the generation of today. We become the generation of technology and so forth. And Philip, what you just shared now, it's so much powerful. And I think a similar project have been done here in Namibia with the prosopis tree, which has invaded actually the whole southern parts of Namibia, and take the normal or natural trees that were growing in the area. And it's becoming very, very bad, especially in the southern parts of Namibia. But just to contribute to the daily proverbs of today, we should talk while we're still alive. Definitely. This is, if we look at worldwide leaders that we celebrate in our day's life, that we can be able to remember. Last week, Simon, remember we just lost one of an African iconic leader in Desmond Tutu. Because of his words, because of what he used to speak. That is why we could be able to celebrate him. That's why we could be able to remember him. We have leaders like Julius Nyerere, who were speaking their language, when they were still alive. It's why today we remember Julius Nyerere as a hero. And for us, if we cannot be able to speak, if we cannot be able to raise our voice, speaking our mind, how shall we be remembered? If we cannot do that, that means we will die unknowingly. So I think the proverb of today is asking us that we should start from the beginning to rise up. And once you rise up, you can be able to achieve something in your life. Because if you don't, someone is going to come and bury you without knowing what you did in your life. So the proverb is speaking loud and clear to each and everyone that this is the time. We have accepted whatever, we have tolerated whatever it's been doing around or going around the world. And if we can't stand up now and speak about it, that means we we will see our future not determined by ourselves, but being determined by someone else. So let's rise up, let's speak up, let's become who we can be able to become, so that the future of tomorrow, or the tomorrow's people, can be able to know that there was a person, or there was someone who rise up against something that happened. So basically, that's what the Proverbs of today is telling us. If we don't speak, we will die unknowingly, we'll die alone, we will not die connected with anybody. So let's start connecting, let's start sharing, let's start networking. The earlier we do it, the better. Just to contribute to this evening topic, we have a very, very lovely topic, the three hidden gem of Africa. It's an amazing. You sitting in your sitting room, and we provide you a therapy that you never ever thought of, because traveling, it's a therapy to each and everyone. Sitting in your sitting room, and we take you to places that we have explored, we have experienced. It's just going to be a mind blowing moment for yourself. So I inviting each and everyone to come in with us, so that we can sit and relax while we travel through virtually, because we are traveling through you. We are not traveling with us, but we are traveling through you. Besides the trip that Simon is basically organizing at the moment, I would love to join that trip to Kenya. My last visit to Kenya was in 2006. So I would not mind, Simon, joining you in your tours to Kenya, and just explore Nyamachoma, and explore Nairobi, also going to Mombasa and your lovely town Kisumu, and just going to see how Kenya has changed. So guys, join us for this evening, and let's explore Africa. Let's travel together through the voice of someone, because that's what Clubhouse has provided. And it has done so much amazingly job. So I look forward to have some of you this evening. I know it's going to be late for some of us in Southern Africa. It's almost at 11 p.m. and it's 1 p.m. Pacific time. So let's join hands, and let's just be there for a few minutes or a few hours that we're going to be there and travel together. I thank you, Simon.
Oh, Joseph, thank you very much. Yes, and you will be there. You will be there, and we will be eating a lot of nyamachoma together. You know, Mustafa, share with us your thoughts about today's proverb, and we will hear from Samara, and then the wonderful digital humanitarian in just a moment. Thank you so much.
Yeah, brother, thank you, Jumbo. Yeah, I got friends in Africa, so just glad to be up here. Thank you for bringing me up to the stage as well. The proverb that you put up today, you know, that we should talk while we are still alive, really resonates with culture from our country also. That life is too short, life is too precious, things are actually volatile, and we must look for the similarities rather than the dissimilarities. And I think the power of talking really transcend throughout the whole generation, and we now tend to lose the art of actually speaking to someone, because there's so much short form and short words that are being used either in text as well as in others. So I think we have to ensure that, especially to the loved ones, we talk while they are still alive, and not to weep over their graveyard. And I think that is very, very, how shall I say, probably the right direct statement that I would like to share here, so that we can understand that the beauty of being in contact and also being in communication. I hope that justify and also describes what you are trying to do up here, Brother Simon. So I think I'll leave it at that for the moment. And it really, really resonates, especially when in Africa as well as in Malaysia, where I come from. Family is a very important unit, and in that is also already various levels of communication. So Mustafa Anan speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. It means a lot that you're joining us from Malaysia. Samara, yesterday we were discussing a Somalia proverb and I thought about you. I was trying to find you so that I could invite you as the guest, but for some reason I just failed. But it was such a wonderful conversation. I appreciate that you're here. Share with us your thoughts on this Kenyan proverb.
Thank you so much, Simon. I'm so sorry. I guess I've been really, really busy after the new year. I will try and attend because obviously I speak Somali, so I can translate. So anytime, keep pinging me in, and I will keep looking out for any of the proverbs in Somali. So for this proverb, we should let me read it again. We should talk while we are still alive. This reminded me of why we should talk. I wanted to speak on why we should talk while we are still alive. It reminds me of the people who bring art to the world, the poets, the musicians, the people who bring greatness to the world, who make their craft a lot, who make their skills and their craft a lot better, and put that message out into the world. If these artists or these people who are from these backgrounds didn't put out, like if Bob Marley didn't put out his songs, we would have never received the message. And if people are coming from a place of fear, we are in a new year now, and put your fear aside and talk, put your craft out there while you are still alive. I'm Samara and I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samara. I am grateful for what you had to say. It reminded me of a story from yesterday, actually. I have 3 daughters. The youngest is 2.5, and the one in the middle is, I think she's 3.5. So yesterday, the 2 of them were in a different room away from me, and there was Alexa in that room. You know, Alexa, this gadget from Amazon that you can tell to play any music. And I had the 2 of them asking Alexa to play my song. You know, there's a song I released last year called Sulwe, which means star. And so Alexa was not giving them an easy time, so they were saying, Alexa, play Sulwe by Simon Javan Okello. And I was just dying in this other room. They could not hear me. I was just laughing, and eventually they could play the song, and then they started dancing to it. Then one of them ran to get me and they said, come, you have to listen to this song. So anyway, I just think it's amazing and very, very important that if it's in your heart to create a poem, create it. If it's in your heart to write a book, write it. If it's in your heart to podcast, you should do it. Just like my brother, Digital Humanitarian, who is now podcasting and continuing to expand the work that he's doing digitally. The mic is yours, my brother. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Simon. And I always dread coming to this room, always, because every time I come to your room, you take me on a deep dive into my culture. I come from the Luo community in Kenya, the Lakeside city where Simon comes from. And your proverbs make so much sense in this day and life. And today's proverb is actually talking to me. And it's funny how you tweeted, and I remember when you picked me on the back channel, you're like, hey, you can join us. I just ignored, because I know when I come into your room, my creative juices just spring up. And being someone who is autistic, I'm blessed with a gift, and my gift is a blessing and a curse at the same time. It's a blessing because I have a critical eye. I can look at things with laser precision and focus on present, past, and the future at the same time. I have a mind which at times baffles me. I think in 3D, I can think 4 or 5 things at the same time without even flinching and stuff. So when I come into Proverbs, I can't help it, Simon, but my condition as someone who is autistic and someone who has been dyslexic in school and someone who has undergone a lot of trauma because of being ADHD, and you find like people people like us who have mental illness, at times people don't see us as who we are. And at times people tell our stories when we are dead, because we try to talk to people, but people never listen. And that proverb is so profound in my life right now, because I'm someone who never went to school. I'm the child who was always punished in school. I'm the child who was always being ridiculed in class, as that is the geek, that is the choppy, that's the guy is a bookworm, because I enjoyed just learning things, because I wanted to understand what is it about me, No one could tell my story. No one could tell me what I'm going through. And I've seen people in my spectrum, especially in the autism spectrum, who actually succumb to their trauma and stuff. And then that's the only time you get to hear their stories of how they were resilient, of how, people share, gratitudes and praise them once they're dead, of how they worked with them, of how they inspired them. Why don't we say these things when people are alive? So Simon, as in some of these proverbs you share here, and they have deeper meaning, and our ancestors knew these things. They knew that if we don't tell our stories while we are alive, who is going to tell our stories? And that's why we Africans, we don't tell our stories. That's why when you look at the narrative we are pushing as Africans outside Kenya, outside Africa, it's the narrative of poverty, the narrative of corruption, the narrative of disease, sicknesses. We don't share our positivity, we don't share our resilience, we don't share our culture, we don't talk about our roots. And when you look at that proverb, Simon, and I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's a condition I have, and my condition wires me to think differently, and this is something which society does not understand. So that's why I chose to actually come out and tell guys, hey, I am sick, I have ADHD, and I've struggled as a kid. Simon, to become a digital humanitarian by telling those stories over the years was a crying for help. I was just someone who was saying, guys, I am sick, I'm autistic, but I can do this, but no one believed me. So we need to tell our stories, guys. And when we tell our stories, we are going to break these stereotypes. When we tell our stories, we are going to normalize having these uncomfortable conversations where, as Africans, we are wired not to tell positive stories of our brothers. As Africans, we don't amplify our success. As Africans, we only glorify people when they have died. Where as Africans, we only buy flowers when I'm dead. We only buy, like Simon, I look at my culture and our Luo culture, we glorify the dead more than when they're alive. We will spend lavishly on funerals. Yet when people are alive, we will never listen to them. So this is a calling. It's actually a mental health campaign, if you look at that proverb. So we need to start talking when we're alive. Like Simon, I need to tell you thank you for what you did. And I keep telling you that always. I keep telling you, Simon, you inspired me. You held my hand, taught me how to use Clubhouse, got me into rooms, and that is something huge. You're telling our stories. You're giving Africans a platform. You're bringing people together to tell their stories while they're still alive. One day, Simon, your podcasts will be listened to by our sons' sons, and they'll remember there's a great man, Simon Okello Javan from Kisumu, Lakeside, Motherland, who did this 24-hour festival, digital marathon on Clubhouse, where he brought in all Africans from around the world to speak about our cultures. That is storytelling. And that's how the gift of audio social as Africans, we need to embrace it. We need to just use this platform and tell our stories. And Simon, we are all gifted in different ways. We have artists, we have poets, we have musicians. And it's good to see Johnny Node down there. He's someone who has inspired me to tell stories. He's always like, hey, thank you for telling your stories. So let's support each other. And support can be about telling our stories. When you see someone doing his podcast or doing something, share it out, retweet it, join in, chime in. That's how we validate our stories. Let's tell our stories. So Simon, this is deep, and it has made me to actually go into depth of my condition and just interrogate my mind and look at it from an autistic perspective. Thanks, guys.
Wow, Philip, thank you so much. Aminata is sharing with us next, but I just want to applaud you and appreciate you for not only doing what you do, but teaching your sons. I've seen what you're doing with photography, tracing, your roots, where you went to nursery school all the way to, I think you're in Kisumu right now, and that makes me very jealous, actually. So let's hear from.
You wait for the cultural food. Wait for the cultural food. Thanks, Simon.
No problem, no problem. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Aminata. Aminata, what's your thoughts about today's proverb?
Hi, everyone. So, for today's proverb, we should talk while we are still alive. I think it's something powerful because, from my own experience, when I left my parents' house 2 years ago, I was alone. I didn't talk to anybody, and I realized isolation kind of affects your mood. It becomes an emotional and mental situation for me. I can't speak for other people, but I think it's important because if we look at all of our heroes and all of the leaders that we had all across the world, we always remember what they said and what they did for people. They never just sit back in silence and just completed or whatever they was able to achieve. But people always will always remember what you did for them, how you made them feel, and they will always quote you because your words will live on forever. Because as human beings, we all have our own time, and no one's time is promised. So I think that proverb is very powerful. It resonated with me a lot. And I listened to what Joseph, Samira, and what Digital shared, and it really touched me from what they were able to share in this room. So I think it's something that we should all take into consideration for ourselves and grow from that, because your words are very powerful, and what you do for people will never forget that. Because once I was able to really speak out and help others and get out of my comfort zone, I began to feel better from myself. So that's all I have to share, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you very much, Aminata. I appreciate your contribution as well. And we are going to hear from Richmo in a moment, but I want to welcome everyone who just joined us. Shout out to Johnny No Good, shout out to Joanne, and shout out to everybody in the room. This is the Daily African Proverbs. We do this every single day, Monday to Friday these days. It used to be a 7-day marathon, but self-care is being infused into the program as well. So Monday to Friday, and I want to urge you to follow the African Father in America Club. I also want to urge you to subscribe to my YouTube channel where we are live streaming this conversation right now. The link at the very top of the room is the best way for you to get to my YouTube channel to catch the live stream and look at my face. Sometimes it's just important to see who you're talking to so that you can really complete that circle of voice and the visual. Now, when we organized Africa Day, which Digital Humanitarian touched on, Richmo was one of the volunteers, and I remember seeing you, Richmo, every single day when we had the organizing meetings. And right after Richmo is another individual, Cornelia, the networker, that was also there every single day. And it was, something we did within a month, and we produced one of the biggest events Clubhouse has ever seen. I still go to some of the biggest rooms here on Clubhouse, and people remind me of Africa Day. I have a Google Drive folder full of all the profiles that we created for everybody for Africa Day. So we are doing it again this year, and in fact, we are already hosting weekly rooms in the Africa Day Club. For example, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we host a room titled Demystifying Crypto in Africa. We bring people of African descent who have been in crypto for years, who have just been working behind the scene so that they can help us demystify this new era of NFTs and crypto to the African community. So if you want to learn about crypto from your own brothers and sisters, that's a good space. And then every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we go back into the topics that we discussed during Africa Day. We bring experts. For example, this Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be bringing language experts. We'll be exploring the topic of, should we just have one language for the whole of Africa, or should we have different languages for different regions in Africa? Which direction should we take? So join us for that conversation this Saturday as well. We are going to be wrapping up in just a moment, and Simply E and Rushi, I would love for you to give us your, the closing remarks for today's session. So think about it while we hear from Richmo and then Cornelia.
Oh man, great. Can you hear me?
Oh yes, we hear you very well.
Great.
Keep going.
Okay. Thank you, Simon, for this space, holding the space for Media Faces and Digital. Great and Simply E network or Cornelius. This is a great individuals, great people who have the cause in them. I want to echo what Digital said. This room, and happy anniversary on that 1 year journey. And many times I find myself in the room, either I get sidetracked by a call, but the message runs close to home and to my heart, because I think of being from East Africa, Kenya, and having in-laws that are pretty much, we have a mini UN in our family. I have Ethiopian family members. I have Tanzanian. The story of us that we should talk while we are still alive. I was mentored by Miles Monroe, and for a long time, Miles Monroe will be advising to some degree that if we are to die, that we die empty. And it took me a while to really kind of break it down. And in essence, he was saying that if we are to die, we have to rob the grave, that we die empty, that if there are stories to be told, that if there are things to be done, that we did them. And because if you look at the cemetery and all the untold stories, the dreams, the ideas that were yet to be unleashed, Les Brown talks about the 3 principles that were imparted to him by his parent. And on the last pillar, he says that one of the greatest things he was told is that tame yourself, because the moment you open your mouth, you reveal to the world who you are. So us talking, it's also in sync with, unless the hunters tell their story, the lion will always appear to be like the hero. And I do want to encourage and implore each and every one of us that if we are to exit this world and kiss this world goodbye, that it is important that we go empty. And that we, when all is told about us, is like we sense that this particular person left with every ounce of statements that their words did not fall to the ground. And that has been the mantra of what we do in telecommunications. In fact, I'm in a space where I'm in Washington, D.C., I'm in the DMV area, where in our space, we constantly deal with people. In telecommunications, you're constantly hearing people talk, and you become so inclined to listen, to understand versus to respond. And so I'm so glad that today this found me rooted and planted, steady to echo it, that I have come to a conclusion that when my time comes, I will go empty. I will not have anything left that I have not said, spoken to, and echoed to the world. So thank you again for this space. I appreciate it. It says, if actions, be careful what we think, for your thoughts become your words. Be careful what you say, for your words become your actions. Be careful what you do, for your actions become your character, and your character is everything. Such a synergy, like a serendipity of how words blend into character. So I'm Richmo, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Richmo. That is just beautiful, and I also will start dreaming of how I can die empty, because that's the ultimate dream. Cornelia, thank you for making the time. You're such a hardworking, individual, and I just admire your energy. What does this proverb mean to you?
Ooh, I just love this proverb. Simon Richmo, what an honor to have you in the room today, right next to me, and which powerful words you left with us as well. You know, this proverb takes me back to my mom. She used to be part of a large community, and when there were funerals in the community, and there was a lot of talks of this and that and that and that, and she used to say, you know what? That person never lived. And the stories that we, like Richmo also mentioned as well, there are so many graves with untold stories. And when I started traveling at a very young age, everybody was saying, no, you can't do that. She can't go to Europe on her own as a young woman, and she doesn't even speak the language, and this and that. And my mom said, go out. Let her go out and explore the outside world. She comes back, she finishes studies, and she will be there to tell so many stories of Europe. And I always encourage everybody, don't let someone else tell your stories. And what a great way here on Clubhouse to create your own room, even if you don't have a club. If you feel like telling your story and sharing your story, do just that. Because so many times there was somebody in the room who might just need or needed to hear a little piece of what you have of your story that you give out there. So go out there and tell your story. And you know what? Desmond Tutu left us a very, very big man of South Africa. I grew up in the apartheid years. I was an activist. And he was the man who stood in front of us in so many times when the big guns were standing in front of us. And he was a man who left us as a youth those years. Don't be silent about things that matter and tell your story and speak out. And while you are still alive, those stories that our kids need to hear, I look at my own mother. There was many stories she never told us. She was very limited with her stories as well, although she encouraged all of us to tell our stories, but she limited herself to tell her own stories. And when I look at that, I say, you know what? You will go out there and leave your stories to your kids and your grandkids. So the day you lay your head to rest, they know your story that only you can tell and no one else. So this proverb is very, very powerful, Simon. And if I look at the Africa Day, that is such a big story that we can all tell to our grandkids as well. A day that was written in history for all of us here on Clubhouse. And I know this year it's going to be another day of those events that we will tell so many stories while we are still alive. Look at us, we're all on this stage and we are alive to share our different stories. So thank you so much to everybody as well who shared, and a little bit of good stuff that we could all take from you guys. And Johnny, happy 1 year on this amazing platform, Clubhouse. And thank you, Simon, for keeping the space for all of us. Back to you, Simon.
Oh, Cornelia, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, I can't say much after what you've shared with us. I want to create space for Brother Johnny, who is an amazing leader. I've missed hearing your voice, Johnny, and I hope you're doing well. I'll pass you the microphone.
Peace, brother Simon. Peace to Simply E. Peace to Samara. Peace to my brother Digital. Peace to Richmo. Peace to Cornelia. And peace to everybody else that's in the room, man. It's been a very, very long time. I really, I didn't have nothing to say. And seeing the proverb today and hearing our brother Digital's testimony, kind of inspired me to go ahead and say just something. Um, Brother Simon, just thank you for creating this space. Thank you for continuing to uplift Africa and the wisdom of Mama Africa. And thank you for just doing the work that you've been doing consistently. I miss this space, bro. I really, really, really miss this space. And I think that it's in the times of being away, I realized how impactful this space has been on me. All the time when I'm speaking, I'm always thinking in Proverbs, always thinking in Proverbs. And so when I seen this proverb, I thought of another proverb. And it was, even if you know a thousand things, ask the person who knows just one. And I think it's important that we ask the person who knows only one thing, because like it's been said, it's your story. What's your testimony? What's your story? Nobody has lived your story. And you truly don't know the way in which your story will inspire other people. And so, Brother Simon, you actually inspired me to get on and create a podcast with a dear friend of mine, talking about music, talking about life, but it's also going to inspire me to create another podcast, which I could get into deeper dives of life. And, Brother Philip, that we know as Brother Digital, following his story on Instagram and watching his testimony, I'm just looking forward to seeing what it is that he does. And so I just want to encourage everybody out there that we should all talk while we're still alive. We all have something valuable to contribute. We all have something valuable to say. And sometimes it's just our presence. But we are all here for a purpose and a reason. And I truly believe that. I think as I enter into my 1 year anniversary being on Clubhouse, and I've been off of Clubhouse for close to 6 months, I never would have thought the way that Clubhouse would have impacted my life. Like, it's crazy. So just always be open to experience, always be open to thought, but always know that you're right where you're supposed to be. So thank you again, Brother Simon, for this platform. Thank you for having me here today. And I just look forward to seeing and coming in every day and getting the wisdom of Mama Africa.
Man, thank you, Johnny. I'm grateful. And, the accountability that you always brought at the very beginning of this room is something that still stays with me. I hold myself accountable to this community to stay consistent, to continue being present. Even when we are not doing this room, I stay engaged with a number of you in this room. And there are people like Jay, who just joined us, who reaches out whenever she sees that one of us has not been around for a while. She asks, how is so and so, how is she doing? Then it gives me the courage to also reach out and find out, hey, how are you doing? But also, whenever I'm wiped out and I just want to take a break from hosting the Daily African Proverbs, she reminds me about why this is important. Not that I ask for it, but she sends an email, Zizi sends an email, and I'm like, wow, this is important. And so I just want to thank you, Johnny, and I want to let everybody else who just joined us, who cannot be on stage, know that at 6:30 a.m. is when we turn off hand raising. So the first 30 minutes, we bring as many people on stage as possible, and then the last 30 minutes, we just listen. Typically, during the first 30 minutes, we also have a special guest that I normally have on YouTube with me. Today, I did not have a guest with me, but tomorrow I will be having Gogo Rutendo Ngara, who is a Zimbabwean based in South Africa, but a renowned spiritual leader that we are hosting here every Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm hosting Mohit, who is a well-known leader here on Clubhouse as well. But for now, simply he who is helping with the growth of this space, especially on Wednesdays, is going to just share with us, what she had in closing. And then Rushi, who is a brother that I traveled with to Africa. For the first time he traveled to Africa, I was there with him, and he's like a Kenyan brother to me now. I also want you to share your closing remarks in regards to what you had since you joined the room, and also if you are to go to Kenya after listening to today's conversation, where would you go first? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. I think we can all agree that today was a day to take this proverb very personal. You know, I find myself taking most of the proverbs very personal, but it just felt like the spirit of the room today, where people knew that the present you can definitely reflect back to the past, and it can dictate your future. And I think it was synonymous amongst everybody, because we heard where people were slowing down to tell stories, reflecting back, reflecting on memories and times with you, and with each other, and with Mama Africa, and then what they're looking forward to in the future. So it's very inspirational that this proverb would take you across your past, your present, and your future. And I think being present is what I can take from what everybody had to give today. So I appreciate everybody's input, and everybody's focus, and just the fact that they were transparent in what the daily African proverb today meant to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simply E, for your continued support. Rushi, close it for us, please.
Oh, thank you, Simon. I would say I remember when I was in Nairobi this last time. I went to this cafe called Palette Cafe. It's a cafe where majority of the staff is pretty much a young staff, but the whole staff is deaf. So going there, it made me think about this proverb also, because we should talk while we still have the opportunity to. Communication is something that is verbal. It could be nonverbal, especially now when we have on these masks. It kind of a lot of people don't feel like talking. So you have to be brave. You have to have the courage to speak. And I think from this group today, what I've learned is there's so many different variations of what this proverb means to people. So I'm grateful to experience in listening what this proverb does mean to each and every one that had the opportunity to speak. And as far as just going forward and closing, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to have to be in this group. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to talk, because it's something I normally don't do. I'm not a talkative person. So I'm just thankful to hear my voice today and hear everyone else's voice. And I just thank all who participated today. And I take a lot from this session today. I thank y'all. Thank everyone. Asante. Goodbye. Thank you.
Karibu, karibu, karibu. And thank you, everyone. Join us tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you missed any part of this conversation, the best place to catch it is on YouTube. It's going to be available immediately after this conversation. And also it's going to be available in the African Father in America podcast in the next 1 hour across all podcasting platforms, and also here on Clubhouse as a replay. Thank you again, and take good care of yourselves. Peace and love.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father, tujikaze, America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington.